Good afternoon. Good afternoon, and welcome to our special memorial service honoring all the past Enmanji Buddhist Temple BWA members. Eshinni Sama, who was the wife of Shinran Shonin and their youngest and sixth child, Kakushinni Sama, Lady Takeko Kujo, and Lady Yoshiko Ohtani. As you may know, in 1978 in Sao Paulo, Brazil, the World Buddhist Women's Association passed a resolution to conduct annual services in honor of Eshinni Sama. And in 2002, we passed another resolution to honor Kakushinni Sama. Today, we hold services to honor these two women who played very notable roles in the organization of the BWA and Honganji. And if we listen to the lyrics, we will be listening to the lyrics and singing in Dr. Kent's song, Shinran's Family. We will listen to some of the many highlights of the leadership that these two impressive ladies played in the organization of the BWA and the Honganji. Our special service now also includes Lady Takeko Kujo and Lady Yoshiko Ohtani. And this morning's Dharma message will be given by our ministerial assistant, Reverend Elaine Donlin of the Buddhist Church of San Francisco. If you will all put your hands together in Gasho and reflect on this very short message by Dogen. Quote, "To learn the Buddha way is to learn about oneself. To learn about oneself is to forget oneself. To forget oneself is to be confirmed by all dharmas. unquote.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo
Namo Amida
Amida
Butsu.
Butsu.
Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida.
Would you all please stand for the opening gatha, Shinran's Family, which is on page 128 in the White Book. 128 in the White Book. And then remain standing for the threefold refuge on page 10 in the Purple Book. Standing for the threefold refuge on page 10 in the Purple Book. Difficult is it to receive a human form. Now we are living it. Difficult is it to hear the Dharma of the Buddha. Now we hear it. If we do not cross over to the truth in the present life, in what life shall we cross over? Let us, with sincerity and true reverence, take refuge in the three treasures of the truth. I take refuge in the Buddha. May we together with all sentient beings awaken to the great way of enlightenment and to the unsurpassed intent of Amida Buddha. I take refuge in the Dharma. May we together with all sentient beings enter the storehouse of the Dharma
becoming like the wisdom ocean.
I take refuge in the sun. May we together all sentients become units in true accord in harmony of all things.
The peerless, profound, and wondrous Dharma is rare to encounter. Even many hundreds and thousands of kalpas. Now we are privileged to hear and receive it. Let us thoroughly understand the true meaning of the Tathagata's teaching.
Namo Amida Butsu.
Namo
Amida Butsu.
Namo
Amida Butsu.
We will now do Sambujo on page 27 of the purple book, and followed by Sutra chanting Jusege on page 93 in the purple book.
Page 24.
27.
24.
Oh, 24, sorry. Thank you. 24.
Kujo Mida Nyorai Niudo Jo respectfully call upon Amida Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, and the Tathagatas of the 10 directions to enter this practice hall as we offer flowers of welcome.
Sutra chanting on page 93.
Today, on the occasion of Enmanji's Eshinni and Kakushinni, ladies Kujo and Ohtani, and the Enmanji Buddhist Women's Association Member Memorial, we reverently come together in deep gratitude. May the fragrance of the incense teach us the purity of our intentions. May the flowers offered remind us of the delicate truth of life's impermanence. May the lights that burn brightly on the altar lead our thoughts to Amida's light of transcendent wisdom that dispels the darkness of self-cherishing. May the paramitas of generosity, morality, patience, effort, contemplation, and prajna wisdom teach us the essential bodhisattva way of life as exemplified by the Shin women we are honoring today. Namo Amida Butsu. 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 Namo Amida. Namanda
This morning, we are very thankful and appreciative to have Ministerial Assistant Reverend Elaine Donlin of the Buddhist Church of San Francisco to give our Dharma message. Most of us are very familiar with Reverend Donlin, and I especially have been very fortunate and privileged to learn and work with Reverend Donlin on the BWA World Federation and Bay District levels. She is certainly a leader. Reverend Donlin also has been presenting and combining her virtual metta meditation services by Zoom for San Francisco and Enmanji. Sensei.
Please join me in Gasho. From Lady Takeko Kujo, whatever is born. When it's time for a person to die, like flowing water, there is no stopping it for even a moment. Death occurs frequently, be it yesterday or today. Indeed, life can end quickly. Whatever is born must pass away. Before the strictest of rules, it makes no difference whether one is man or woman, rich or poor, the same awaits us all. Every moment that we are alive moves us that much closer to our death. However, when supreme nirvana is viewed from the standpoint of Mahayana Buddhism, the whole of birth and death is nothing more than change. Though we may be steeped in sadness due to our attachment to this world, when we consider that what we are moving towards to eternal life, we realize that this brief existence is but the first step toward complete nirvana. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida. Well, good morning or good afternoon. I'd first like to extend my gratitude to the Enmanji BWA. Claire, thank you for that very generous introduction. Also to Reverend Fujimoto and to Nero Yagi for the kind invitation to be with you all this morning for this really important service. And it's just really nice to be back here at Enmanji to see you. When I was invited to speak for this special service, I was a little unsure of what angle to take, presenting a talk that encompasses such a wide breadth of remarkable Shin women. So I guess I'll just begin with the obvious. It's something that Reverend Patty Nakai from the Buddhist Temple of Chicago once observed when speaking at a combined Eshinni, Kakushinni, Lady Ohtani, and Lady Kujo service. She said that, quote, "Patriarchy lumps women all together, instead of seeing each woman for their unique contributions. And it should not be framed on what they did for men, but what they did for us and for the Dharma." And I agree with her that certainly each of these women that we are honoring today could easily have their own service and Dharma talk written about their deep faith and unique contributions to the Dharma. And this includes each of the late Enmanji BWA members, who we are also honoring today, along with their contributions and inspirations, which allow us to hear and appreciate the Dharma. Okay, so I just had to get that out of the way. Maybe one day we'll go back to having separate services for all of our remarkable spiritual leaders as Shin. So what is a common theme that unites all of these amazing women that we've come together to remember and honor? Well, the theme or focus of today's talk came to me a couple weeks ago when I attended the 2023 Numata Symposium on Buddhist practice, Perspectives is called Perspectives on and from the Oxford Handbook of Buddhist Practice. It's a newly published book that was co-edited by IBS Eshinni and Kakushinni chair Paula Arai. And while the symposium didn't focus on Jodoshin per se, the theme of embodied practice dominated the day-long lectures. At one point, the question was posed, what constitutes authentic Buddhist practice? And it was agreed that it wasn't necessarily what was written in ancient Buddhist texts, but by what is created over time with engaged communities. They called it meaning-making activity. For each of our honorees, Namo Amida Butsu was an embodied practice that was both experiential meaning-making activity and the source of liberation. I couldn't help but think about Eshinni and Kakushinni, Lady Kujo, Lady Ohtani, and each of our BWA honorees. In the case of Eshinni and Kakushinni, they helped our Shin Dharma get established. In the case of Lady Kujo and Lady Ohtani, they showed us how engaged Shin Buddhists can live in our troubled and conflicted world. And in the case of our BWA members, they helped the Shin Dharma take root here on the West Coast, eventually settling at Enmanji, and how they modeled for us how the Nembutsu can be a guiding light in our own life. You know, there's a history of disruptors in Buddhism, which is a little incongruent at face value, right? Often when we think of Buddhism, we think of words like peace and harmony, and that's what pops into our mind, but certainly not disruption. Disruption, the act or process of disrupting something, a break or interruption in the normal course or continuation of some activity or process. Disruption, a radical change to an existing situation. In India, some 2,700 years ago, Shakyamuni Buddha, the historical Buddha, was a disruptor. He saw the suffering brought on by the existing caste system and denounced it, teaching that a person's actions are the measure of who the person is, not their assigned caste at birth. And so he radically welcomed the so-called untouchables into his monastic order. He taught that everyone has that seed of potentiality to be a Buddha. Our founder Shinran was a disruptor. He left the corrupted and privileged life of the monastery on Mount Hiei and went looking for a true, authentic teacher, which he found in Honin, who was preaching the equality of the Nembutsu to everyone that wanted to hear it. And Shinran paid a price for sharing his radical, liberating, and egalitarian teaching of Namo Amida Butsu. He was defrocked, stripped of his Buddhist name, and sent into exile for 5 years, during which time his beloved teacher Honin had died. His wife Eshinni-sama was culturally a disruptor because she didn't conform to the usual norms of the day. Eshinni was an extremely independent woman in 12th, 13th century Japan, living to 87 years of age. She didn't depend on her husband. In fact, she supported Shinran financially and materially. She was educated, intelligent, refined. She owned an estate in Echigo and raised her 6 children almost by herself. She made her own decisions. And she and Shinran challenged traditional societal norms of their marriage because she married a Tokudo ordained monk who considered himself neither monk nor lay. As such, Eshinni was also a selfless supporter of the Nembutsu teaching. She was motivated by her own experiences, which had convinced her that Shinran's work was of great significance. And so her contribution to and financial support of his work arose from her own conviction and faith in the Nembutsu. Kakushinni-sama, Eshinni and Shinran's youngest daughter, was not only her father's caregiver in his final years, But after Shinran's death, she is revered for literally laying the foundation of organization and propagation that was to grow into today's Honganji. She joined with other devout followers after Shinran's passing to keep his memory and his work alive. Using land made available to her by her marriage into the Ohtani family, it was Kakushinni who donated the land to build a mausoleum that allowed people to come and pay their respects to Shinran. She deemed the caretakers of the mausoleum to be the descendants of both Shinran and herself. The mausoleum would be converted into a temple by her grandson, Kakunyo, who named the new temple Honganji, Temple of the Primal Vow. The establishment of our mother temple in Kyoto is all due to Kakushinni's foresight and devotion to the Nembutsu teaching. Fast forward to the 20th century. Lady Takeko Kujo was also a disruptor. Lady Kujo was a disruptor not by what she said, but by how she lived her life. She was born into great privilege in 1887 in Kyoto, Japan, and had a prescribed role laid out for her as the youngest and favorite daughter of the 21st abbot or Gomonshu of the Honganji. When she was 16 years old, her father died, and she came into the care of her brother, who had then ascended to become the 22nd Gomonshu. At 17 years old, she worked closely with her brother's wife, Lady Ohtani, and they established the groundbreaking Fujinkai in Japan in 1905. She saw the suffering that women endured within their temples that profess, quote, all are equal within the light of Amida, unquote. And while true in the ultimate realm, it certainly wasn't in the relative realm of everyday life. This Fujinkai Buddhist Women's Association gave temple women, long kept in the background of temple life, leadership roles and a real voice. Lady Kujo advocated for women and founded the Kyoto Women's College, in addition to several other schools. In 1923, the Great Kanto earthquake devastated Tokyo and the surrounding area. Lady Kujo sponsored various humanitarian efforts and undertook activities to aid the seriously injured and the orphaned. She engaged in social welfare work in the Tokyo slums and took up the cause of women there despite her noble and very privileged status. Also at that time, she established the Asoka Hospital in Tokyo, which was one of Japan's first modern medical centers and still exists today. Lady Kujo was also a noted poet and playwright, and she wrote many poems about her Nembutsu faith, as exemplified in the piece that I read at the beginning of this talk. And she financed most of her humanitarian projects with the profits from her artistic endeavors. Her most popular work of poetry, Muyu Ge, Flower Without Sorrow, was so popular that there were 400 reprintings of it in less than 15 years, and is still regarded as a classic in Japan. Lady Kujo died in 1928 at just 42 years of age after contracting blood poisoning during her volunteer work in the Tokyo slums. I've often reflected on what our tradition might have looked like if it wasn't rooted in a patrilineal system, right? Lineage based on the male line, which was not something Kakushinni stated. If Lady Kujo had ascended to the role of the 22nd Gomonshu instead of her brother following her father's death in 1903. She had two brothers. Her younger brother was a politician, very active in the wheelings and dealings of the politics of the day. And it was her elder brother who inherited the position as the 22nd Gomonshu. This new Gomonshu, her brother, had been an explorer. And even after his ascension to Gomonshu, he continued to finance archaeological expeditions in Central Asia, which brought a huge amount of debt into the Honganji. A financial scandal forced him to abdicate in 1914. So then Lady Kujo's nephew, became the 23rd Gomonshi. Lady Kujo was a bloodline to Shinran, just as much as her brothers were. However, the qualities of wisdom and compassion that she imbued throughout her all too short life really stand out above and beyond. Her deep devotion to the Butsu, coupled with her active participation in improving the lives of women and her temple community and the greater Kanto community, was noble indeed, and serves as a role model for all Shin practitioners. Again, each of these women, Eshinni, Kakushinni, Lady Kujo, Lady Ohtani, could each have and have had solo Dharma talks, lectures, and seminars dedicated to their unique contributions to Shin. Today, we are also remembering and honoring our BWA sisters who have preceded us, recognizing their continuation of the influence of their embodied devotion upon our lives. This morning, I'm thinking of Shinran's words: "If I am behind, I will guide. If I am behind, I will be guided by others. If I go first, I will guide others." So we come together today to remember and honor those guides of the Enmanji Buddhist Women's Association who have gone before us, who have planted the seeds of Shin Dharma here at Enmanji. Their kindness reaffirms the working of the compassionate primal vow. We thank them for the opportunities we are given to gather here, to hear the Dharma, to chant the sutras, and to say Namo and Butsu together. All due in part to their selfless giving and support and leadership. All of these remarkable women have shown us what it means to be in this world, walking the path of Butsu. So this is how I appreciate today's memorial service, as we remember and truly honor remarkable Shin women who we can continue to be grateful for, to learn from, and to be inspired by. Please join me in Gasho as we listen to the hopeful words of our founder, Shinran. Awaken to the life-nurturing primal vow of Amida, those who only entrust in this universal activity of love and compassion, through the benefit of being embraced and never forsaken, all attain enlightenment. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida Butsu. Namo Amida.
Thank you, Sensei Donlin, for your special message in helping us to honor our past BWA members and informing and telling us the important roles of Eshinni-sama, Kakushinni-sama, Lady Kujo, and Lady Ohtani. Hopefully, our current BWA members will remain alive and active, as we are one of the largest Shin Buddhist women's group active today. If you would all rise for the closing Gatha, Seya, on page 226 in the Purple Book. Does anyone have any announcements?
Claire just whispered to me to make it short, and I will. I just would like to remind everyone in 2 Saturdays coming up, we're going to be having our Maui Fires fundraiser. It's taking place from noon time to 4. Tickets at the door, and we are expecting hopefully a nice crowd. So if you're coming, I would suggest to come early. Okay, and it's going to be a nice event, Hawaiian themed lunch, entertainment throughout the day. The headliner is Hawaiian singer Faith Ako, and she has a big following, so we're really happy that Faith can be with us that day. As you saw probably on the flyer in the newsletter, all of the donations are going to the Maui Strong Fund and to the Lahaina Haumana'i Mission. And the total expense of this fundraiser is borne upon the Enmanji Temple. So every penny that we get for the fundraiser are going to this cause. So we ask for your generosity and support for the devastation that took place and the loss of life in Maui. So thank you.
For those of you who bought any of the tickets or any of the bentos for the Buddhist Temple of Alameda, who's having their bento sale next Saturday, I'm going to be going over there to pick them up Saturday afternoon. So if you ordered any, please let me know. I can pick yours up if you'd like to, or if you'd like to drive over there too, you can do that too. So thank you very much.
Do we have any more? I have a game. We're playing a game in church, but it was suggested. Does everyone recognize the photos? Everyone knows who they are? Oh, very good. We won't have a game. But thanks to Daryl and Twinkle Mato, Yagi, sorry. Such how far we go back. I'd like to thank them for donating these photos of Lady Kujo and Eshinni and Kakushinni-sama. Thank you. And I'd also like to thank the October Toban team, led by Carol Ohtani and Keiko Ferruccio, for the beautiful flowers and the osanai. To Daryl Yagi for setting up the onajin and for the kancho ring. And Dr. Kent Matsuda for providing the music. And if everybody doesn't know by now, we should. We thank Dr. Kent, for composing his perfect and meaningful song, Shinran's Family. So whenever you hear that song, it was written by Kent. Dr. Kent, sorry. Now the October Toban invites everyone to the social hall to share and enjoy a special slice of cake donated by the BWA in remembering our past BWA members, Eshinni-sama, Kakushinni-sama, Lady Kujo, and Lady Ohtani. And we would like to thank Sensei Donlin for sharing your time and knowledge and honoring our past members. Thank you. And also, we would like to know how your mother's doing. And she said I asked her earlier, and she said her mother is doing much better. She wanted to come today, but she's still a little unsteady, so maybe one of these days we'll see her. And thank you for everyone for attending today's special service. And for those who have not and wish to Oshoko, please come forward before giving the humble. Thank you.
No